Hello and welcome to my review of Lego Jurassic World. This game was developed by TT Fusion as well as Traveler's Tales and published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment. Lego Jurassic World is one of the many Lego games which have been made by the owners of TT Fusion, TT Games, who also owns Traveler's Tales. And Lego games all go by a very similar formula since pretty much Lego Star Wars. This time it's Jurassic Park and Jurassic World's turn, but is it worth it? Now, I know this is a strange game for me to cover, but the fact is, I love looking at unique games, and LEGO games are ones that kind of get neglected or tossed aside. Often they're considered the same every time, and while that can be true, each game is unique, so I figured we should look at one. And if you like hearing about different games rather than just whatever's the new hotness that everyone's talking about, consider subscribing. I appreciate it. I will also say I'm making this video with no volume from the game. The fact is, there's a lot of copyrighted music here, and I don't want to deal with how YouTube handles copyright claims. I don't put ads on my video, so I don't want other people to be able to put ads on my video without my say-so. Now, LEGO games themselves have a lot of variety, and I'm sure some people write off the series very quickly as just the same system. I don't fault people for not looking beyond the similarities, and each of these games is based on a large movie property where characters from the movies are turned into minifigs, and then the player gets to play as these characters, beat enemies, explore scenes from the movies, and that type of thing. But that's not everything. The series has actually evolved a lot from the original LEGO Star Wars games, which was started with the Star Wars prequels. Apparently one good thing came out of those movies. Each game is a little different and there are minor changes between them, but there have been some bigger ones as well, such as voice being added to the game, usually pulled from the movies themselves, and open world areas that have been a major improvement to the flow of these games. Each game does improve the formula in some way, but not all LEGO games are the same. So let's finally talk about LEGO Jurassic World. Now, graphically, LEGO Jurassic World is solid. It's not going to surprise most fans of the LEGO games, but like always, there's a ton of LEGO objects based on the movies, and sure enough, there's LEGO structures to break, LEGO characters to switch to, and LEGO objects to interact with. Now, this does help to identify what the player is expected to interact with. The problem is, LEGO Jurassic World has a majority of the world outside of those LEGO objects that aren't LEGOfied. Much of the world, the ground, and the locations are not Legos. They're just normal textures, and while it does work, it feels like Lego objects were placed in the real world rather than a full Lego version of Jurassic Park or World. While the minifigs are well designed, and each character looks amazing as a small Lego version of the movie Persona, the portraits informing you which characters you should switch to are weak. There are several black-haired white males, and it's not clear which one the game expects you to use in some of these cases. Is it Dennis Nedry, Nick Van Owen, or Ian Malcolm, or any of the others? Now, the reason why Jurassic Park is still alive. The dinosaurs in LEGO Jurassic World are amazing. While they are based on the LEGO versions of dinosaurs, they look incredible in the game, and each dinosaur feels unique and they fit well with the world. Now, the reason the video has no sound is also a huge positive for the game. John Williams' amazing score is here, likely lifted from the soundtrack, but it is still as incredible as it's ever been, and hearing those familiar notes throughout the game works well. It stirs up familiar feelings for this franchise. Now, the story of LEGO Jurassic World is also what you would expect. For those uninitiated in LEGO games, they retell famous movies with LEGO figurines with a small amount of artistic license, but you are getting the original story. Many famous scenes are here, including like a version of the kitchen scene where Tim and Lex avoid raptors, a computer room scene where Alan and Ellie are forced to hold a door back while Tim and Lex need to reboot a computer, and so on. While these parts of the game are well designed, LEGO games are aimed at children, so many of the more violent moments of the game are reworked. No one ever dies in this game, I'm just going to say that flat out, and even characters that are eaten by dinosaurs, like the lawyer, Gennaro, are regurgitated later. You know, it's odd to see no humans killed, but it's also what the series has come to expect. Family-friendly entertainment and all that. Now, all four movies here are extremely well done. The original Jurassic Park is still mine and probably every fan's favorite movie of the series. It has the best story, the best intro, the best characters, best morals, and the best music. Yeah, it's just freaking good. And it's easily one of the greatest movies of all time, not just in this series. If you haven't seen it, you really probably should. But if you want to play through it instead, well, it's really fun here. And going on, the sequel, Jurassic Park 2, is a great follow-up to that story. I'm trying not to talk too many spoilers so people can go see them if they have not seen them yet, but it holds up very well, especially in this format. There are a ton of great moments and wonderful scenes. The characters are really well done, and they have great uses in the game. The only really weak part is the San Diego portion at the end of the movie, which is kind of short and weak. It's similar to the movie, it's just entirely too fast for this game. I will also say that the gymnast scene is in Lego Jurassic World, but it's handled so much better than the movie, and it doesn't have that corny, the school cut you from the team. That was a terrible scene in the movie, but it was actually really well done here. Speaking of terrible scenes, well, I'll put some sound on for this one. Let's see the famous one.
Alan! I think they're looking for someone.
And that was, of course, the infamous Alan scene. And it's still silly and out of place, but I think it works here due to the humorous story, especially with Raptor Jeff Goldblum at the end there. Jurassic Park 3 itself is weak, probably the worst out of all these movies. Lego Jurassic World makes it a bit worse in my opinion, as you already have to play through the first two superior movies to get to this one, and it really doesn't improve this one that much. That is, of course, chronological, but Jurassic Park 3 is so weak, it doesn't feel like a reward to get to this point. It feels almost like a punishment. And speaking of that, that titular game, Jurassic World, is of course still here, and it's available after the first level. You don't have to play through an entire other movie to get there. You can play the original movie or Jurassic World first. Your choice. The thing is, the newest movie is a bit weak in my opinion. I can name almost every character except Samuel L. Jackson's character from the original movie. They're unique, they're well developed, they're interesting, they're memorable. But Jurassic World just doesn't have that same level of interesting characters. There's Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, I think. I know after playing the game there's Owen Grady, Chris Pratt, and Claire something. I don't even remember her last name. I also can't name another character in this movie. I know there's the two kids, Vincent D'Onofrio, the caretaker. Dear God, I don't even have a clue who any of these people are. Oh, well, B.D. Wong is there, but that's from the original, Dr. Wu, of course. The thing is, Lego games are based on these characters that are in the movie, and it hurts Jurassic World here, where, Jurassic Park is amazing just because you want to play as the characters. Jurassic World, I don't know if I really cared enough about these characters. As mentioned, there is voice in this game, and many lines are taken directly from the original movies. Apparently, some of the actors who portrayed the game recorded new lines, some redubbed their original lines, and that is actually pretty good. It sounds great. But it depends on the scene, character, and moment. However, I will say Jeff Goldblum's lines often sound dreadful, and it's clear that they were taken directly from the movie, because music or sounds are usually playing over it. The transfer is just never clean, and it's just not as clean as any other line in the game. It's really a shame because it's extremely distracting when you notice it. The humor of Lego Jurassic World, though, is well done. There is always a tongue-in-cheek part to almost every scene here, as you may have noticed. There are not many humorous parts to the gameplay itself, though, but the story can be funny. I think one of my favorite moments is a reference to Jaws that just kind of comes out of nowhere. However, there are quite a few solid scenes here as well. And Lego games are reaching the point that some games, like Lego Avengers, stick too close to the story, and it doesn't create enough scenes to be anything other than a strict retelling of the story. Lego Jurassic Park isn't that. It's a little too faithful to the story at times, but at the same time, the humor is here and it's worth playing just to see their take on this story. And that, of course, brings us to the gameplay. And honestly, this is just a Lego game. If you've ever played any of the series, you probably have a very solid idea how this will go. For the uninitiated, let me give you a very quick overview of the style of game. In any scene in the game, you explore the area, smash any objects you can find, and use any special abilities. If there's a spot to use a special ability, you'll probably get a prompt showing you the character that you should be using, or a button to hit, usually B. And that's about it. There's of course a lot of scenes, locations, even enemies to fight in these games, though actually Lego Jurassic World doesn't feel like it has as much combat as the other Lego games, which is probably a good thing. The thing, though, is you're not going to find a true challenge here. You can, of course, die, but when you die in these games, you just lose some of your currency, which is Lego studs. About 2,000 studs will drop where you were standing, and you can pick those up again as you respawn. And then you try again and again until you finally figure out what the game wants you to do. There's really no game over, no failure state, not even really hard puzzles, just simple fun. So, really, why play these games? I'm sure someone's asking. As mentioned before, though, LEGO games are based on properties. If you hate dinosaurs and Jurassic Park, don't play LEGO Jurassic World, obviously. But if you want a fun retelling of the story with some humor, that's what LEGO Jurassic World is about. If you want a family-friendly game to play with your 6-year-old or so, great, that's what this is. If you're a 38-year-old programmer who enjoys, simple games, well, yeah, there's a reason I'm looking at this game, because I like them. You can also look at this game like the Telltale series. Like, they had a Jurassic Park, they had Back to the Future, they had Batman. If you like those games, you're probably going to like those Telltale games, even if they're not amazing. That's kind of the idea here, too. Now, the big thing in LEGO Jurassic World that none of the other LEGO games do is you can play as dinosaurs. You don't have to limit yourself only to the characters of the movie, even though they're all here. Yes, all of them, as you can see on the screen. And that's not it. The dinosaurs here are also fun to play as well as switch to. You have everything from the big T-Rex to Triceratops to, well, of course, could it be a Jurassic Park game without the Velociraptor? No, of course not. Each character does play a little bit differently, and the same is true for the dinosaurs as well, whether it be the T-Rex who stomps around, the Triceratops who swings his tail, or of course the Velociraptor who has a lot of agility. Now, you can switch to some of these characters anywhere in the game, especially the Velociraptors, but for the big boys, well, you're going to have to use these summoning panels, and they'll appear as if by magic. Are the dinosaurs fun to play, though? Well, they would have to be. There's a lot of abilities in the game as well, and each character has unique abilities, at least for most of the main characters. Each dinosaur also has a set of abilities as well. Alan Grant, for instance, can dig in dirt. Ellie Sattler dives into dino poo to find out what's wrong with dinosaurs. Lex can hack computers. The Velociraptors might be able to reach certain ledges, and so on. The only thing is that some characters do feel shoehorned in, such as Ian Malcolm. Now, he's a great character. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Goldblum, but he's able to light up the dark places in the game because he once appeared with a flare in the game, and he can do science puzzles. I mean, I get the flare idea, and I get the theory of the science puzzles, that is his character, but they just don't appear that often. They don't even appear in the first game. I think I saw 2 or 3 of these science puzzles across all 4 movies, and each time it's almost as if the game couldn't come up with a reason for Ian Malcolm to be there. Now, there are a lot more abilities in the game, and I'll leave a majority of them for you to find, but there's nothing here that feels amazing or unique. Many are just interactions that work because of movie scenes, but don't feel that special. The levels of the game, though, are pulled straight from the movie, and they work well. Each movie gets 5 different levels. The first for Jurassic Park, for instance, was where the dinosaur bites off the arm of the worker, without the gore, as mentioned, with the second part of that level being the dig site for Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler. 5 levels per movie does feel on the short side, and there is a bonus level for each movie, but each bonus level just is another running level. The running levels in general aren't the best parts of this game, and I can understand why they're mostly bonuses and not treated as parts of the main levels, but, they do use them sometimes. The way LEGO Jurassic World helps out that short level count, though, is with massive open world areas. Each movie gets their own map to explore, which leads the player to the next level with a huge number of areas to explore on that map, with additional content. Many of these are, of course, just collectibles, but at the same time, the map leads the player through so many locations from the movie, such as that initial view of the dinosaurs, which they stop the cars and the group looks out at them. Now, the open worlds do feel like an additional level, maybe 2, maybe even 3 per movie. There's a wealth of content in each of them, to the point that the open world will be a lot of your post-game exploration, rather than just replaying the levels. Now, the initial 20 levels in the game do have more parts to explore, and bonus objects to find when replaying in free play mode. And for those of you who are new to this series, free play is when characters can be used in any scene, not just the characters that appeared in the story mode. However, these are a fraction of the content this time around, really a very small part, and the absolute wealth being on display for those who want to explore the full open world is where you want to be at. And it's highly recommended. I've actually enjoyed that. Now, overall, the Lego Jurassic World is what you would expect from a Lego game. You have a great movie property, a fun story, simple but enjoyable gameplay like always, and a lot of familiar sights. The dinosaurs are actually a fun addition here, but they don't fully change the game, which is fine, and the experience is good. The movie property actually really works well with this conversion. Lego Jurassic World gets a 4 out of 5. This is a really solid game, and of course I'm a fan of both the movie and the game. I was a boy in the 80s. It was required for me to be a fan of dinosaurs. I got entirely too many of those toys, and this is actually what we did before computers, kids. We just played with dinosaur toys. I still know entirely too many dinosaur names: the Apatosaurus, the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3, the Ankylosaurus. So yeah, of course I'm going to love this topic. But Jurassic Park is just an amazing movie, and Jurassic Park 2 is a great sequel. The fact is, when you get a property that's that hot, a team like this should know how to do it, and of course they do. It's like Lego Star Wars or even Lego Back to the Future, if they ever make that. Jurassic Park is just such an iconic movie series, though, that this was an easy sell. But the fact is, it's a solid game that's worth playing beyond just being based on an absolute classic movie. And if you haven't seen Jurassic Park, honestly, go watch it. It's still fantastic. That's Lego Jurassic World, and I'm glad to talk about something a little bit different. I might talk about another Lego game one day. I like the series. I don't think it gets enough credit for what they do. However, if you've enjoyed this one, definitely subscribe. We're going to have more soon. I'm going to be working on My Time at Porsche, which is a pretty meaty game still. However, I might throw a thoughts video out if I can come up with a solid topic. I'll throw up 2 games for you to check out for the younger fans. We have Spyro Reignited Trilogy, and we also have Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Until next time, I'm King Link, and thanks for watching.